You are what you do, not what you say you'll do. Carl Jung. You've felt it, that quiet ache that lingers after a harsh word, a rejection, or a moment of betrayal. You tell yourself you're fine, smile through the day, but inside, it's eating you alive. You dream of being someone who doesn't flinch, someone untouchable, who brushes off criticism or loss like dust. Maybe you're exhausted from acting strong, from pleasing everyone just to avoid judgment. You want a break, a moment where you don't have to hold it all together. But here's a truth most people won't tell you. Running from pain doesn't make it go away. It makes it your master. Carl Jung, a pioneer of the human psyche, saw pain as a signal, not a sentence. You think hiding your hurt, burying it under a tough exterior or a forced smile will protect you. It won't. Every time you dodge what you feel, you give it more power. That comment from a coworker that stings for days, that friend who ghosted you, leaving you questioning your worth, they hurt because you're fighting to keep the pain out instead of facing it. Jung taught that what you resist grows stronger, chaining you to every slight, every disappointment. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're human. The problem isn't the pain, it's the belief that you can outrun it. You can't. Trying to be perfect, to never show a crack, keeps you trapped in a cycle of tension. You're always bracing for the next hit, always trying to control how others see you. But true strength isn't about never hurting. It's about knowing who you are, even when you're hurting. Jung believed you become unshakable, not by building walls, but by understanding what's inside them. This journey starts with a choice. Stop pretending and start looking inward. You don't need to be untouchable by shutting down. You need to be whole by opening up to yourself. That's where the real power begins. If you're tired of feeling at the mercy of others' words or actions, this is for you. Let's take the first step to break free. You flinch when someone criticizes your work. Your stomach twists when a friend ignores your text. A stranger's cold glance leaves you questioning yourself for hours. You think the problem is out there, in their words, their actions, their silence. But Carl Jung saw deeper. What hurts you isn't what others do. It's what their actions wake up inside you. The real pain comes from old wounds you've never faced, buried deep in your unconscious, waiting for a trigger to flare up. Jung taught that the external world is a mirror. That harsh comment from your boss, it stings because it echoes a fear you've carried since childhood. Maybe that you're not good enough. That friend who bailed on you? It hurts because it taps into an unspoken dread of being unlovable. These aren't random blows. They're signals pointing to parts of you that remain raw, unhealed, and unseen. You're not weak for feeling this way. Everyone carries these hidden scars. The difference is what you do with them. Most people hide. You might fake a smile, push the hurt down, or distract yourself with work or scrolling. But Jung warned that ignoring pain only tightens its grip. Those buried wounds don't vanish. They fester, shaping how you react, who you trust, even how you see yourself. That argument with your partner that blew up over nothing? It wasn't about the dishes. It was about an old betrayal you never processed. That anxiety before a big presentation? It's not just nerves. It's a deeper doubt you've never named. The truth is, you can't control what others say or do. Trying to be perfect, kind, or strong enough to avoid their judgment is a losing game. Jung's insight was revolutionary. You don't need to change the world to stop hurting. You need to change how you meet yourself. The pain others cause only has power if it finds an echo in your unconscious, a wound you haven't faced. Start by noticing what hurts most. Is it rejection, criticism, feeling invisible? Those triggers are your map. They show you where to look, where the work begins. You're not doomed to carry this pain forever. Jung believed you become who you choose to be, not what happens to you. But that choice starts with courage. To stop running, to stop numbing, and to face what's inside. When you begin to see your wounds, they lose their hold. You don't need to shield yourself from the world. You need to understand yourself within it. That's the first step to breaking free from the cycle of hurt. You think you're in charge of your life, but you're not. That snap of anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, the sadness that hits you out of nowhere on a quiet night, the choice to skip that job application you swore you'd finish. None of it feels random, but you can't explain it. Carl Jung had an answer. Your unconscious is pulling the strings. Until you shine a light on it, it decides how you feel, what you do, and why you keep tripping over the same mistakes. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. Your unconscious isn't just a storage room for old memories. It's a living force, packed with fears, traumas, and desires you've pushed away. That outburst at a friend who canceled plans? It's not just about them. It's a spark from an old rejection you buried. That habit of procrastinating on big goals? It's not laziness. It's a hidden fear of failure steering you. Jung saw these as messages from your deeper self, screaming for attention. You don't control your reactions because you don't know what's driving them. You're not weak. You're just unaware. Think about the last time you felt crushed by a comment or spiraled after a setback. Maybe your boss said your work needed improvement, and you spent days replaying it, feeling worthless. Or maybe you ghosted a new friend because their silence felt like a slight. These aren't just feelings, they're patterns, rooted in parts of you that you've ignored. Your unconscious holds the script, and you're acting it out without reading the lines. Jung's point was clear. What you don't understand about yourself controls you. The good news? You can rewrite the script. You don't need to stay on autopilot, reacting to triggers you don't see. Start by noticing what sets you off. Does a coworker's tone make you defensive? Does being alone make you restless? These are clues, not curses. Jung believed that bringing these shadows into the light, acknowledging them without judgment, starts to loosen their grip. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to look. If this makes sense to you, like and subscribe. Thank you. This isn't about blaming yourself or digging up every past hurt. It's about taking back the wheel. Every time you react without knowing why, you hand your power to the unconscious. But when you pause, question, and listen to what's stirring inside, you begin to choose your response. That's where freedom starts. You're not doomed to repeat the same cycles. Jung showed that by facing what's hidden, you can stop being a puppet and start being yourself. You think you're in charge of your life, but you're not. That snap of anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, the sadness that hits you out of nowhere on a quiet night, the choice to skip that job application you swore you'd finish. None of it feels random, but you can't explain it. Carl Jung had an answer. Your unconscious is pulling the strings. Until you shine a light on it, it decides how you feel, what you do, and why you keep tripping over the same mistakes. Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you'll call it fate. Your unconscious isn't just a storage room for old memories. It's a living force, packed with fears, traumas, and desires you've pushed away. That outburst at a friend who canceled plans? It's not just about them. It's a spark from an old rejection you buried. That habit of procrastinating on big goals? It's not laziness. It's a hidden fear of failure steering you. Jung saw these as messages from your deeper self, screaming for attention. You don't control your reactions because you don't know what's driving them. You're not weak. You're just unaware. Think about the last time you felt crushed by a comment or spiraled after a setback. Maybe your boss said your work needed improvement, and you spent days replaying it, feeling worthless. Or maybe you ghosted a new friend because their silence felt like a slight. These aren't just feelings, they're patterns, rooted in parts of you that you've ignored. Your unconscious holds the script, and you're acting it out without reading the lines. Jung's point was clear. What you don't understand about yourself controls you. The good news: you can rewrite the script. You don't need to stay on autopilot, reacting to triggers you don't see. Start by noticing what sets you off. Does a coworker's tone make you defensive? Does being alone make you restless? These are clues, not curses. Jung believed that bringing these shadows into the light, acknowledging them without judgment, starts to loosen their grip. You don't need to fix everything at once. You just need to look. This isn't about blaming yourself or digging up every past hurt. It's about taking back the wheel. Every time you react without knowing why, you hand your power to the unconscious. But when you pause, question, and listen to what's stirring inside, you begin to choose your response. That's where freedom starts. You're not doomed to repeat the same cycles. Jung showed that by facing what's hidden, you can stop being a puppet and start being yourself. You've tried to tough it out. When someone hurts you, you clench your jaw, say, "I'm fine," and act like nothing phases you. You build walls, put on a mask, and tell yourself you don't care. But deep down, the pain still burns. You're not fooling anyone, least of all yourself. Carl Jung saw through this. Pretending to be untouchable doesn't make you strong. It makes you fragile. True strength isn't about shutting out your feelings. It's about knowing them, embracing them, and understanding why they're there. That's what makes you unshakable. Jung believed the problem isn't feeling too much. It's not knowing what you feel or why. When your partner snaps at you and you shut down for days, it's not just their words hurting you. It's the confusion, the unasked question. Why does this hit me so hard? When you skip a social event because you're scared of judgment, it's not just shyness. It's a deeper fear you haven't faced. Closing off doesn't stop the bleeding. It hides it. Jung taught that to heal, you need to integrate, to bring every part of yourself, even the messy ones, into the light. Integration means meeting yourself honestly. You don't need to stop feeling sad when a friend drifts away. Just notice why it stings. Maybe it reminds you of being left out as a kid. You don't need to bury anger when a coworker takes credit for your work. Just ask what it's telling you. Maybe it's a signal you've been too passive. Jung said, "Be just another human soul." That means accepting your fears, your shame, your softness, not hiding them behind a fake tough exterior. When you do, something shifts. You stop reacting blindly. You start choosing how to respond. This isn't about becoming perfect or emotionless. It's about becoming whole. Picture a fight with a family member that leaves you fuming. Instead of icing them out, you pause. You journal why you're so mad. Maybe it's not just their comment, but a lifetime of feeling unheard. That clarity lets you respond calmly, not lash out. Or when you feel unworthy after a rejection, you don't numb it with distractions. You sit with it, see it's tied to an old story, and let it pass. Jung's genius was showing that when you integrate your emotions, they lose their power to control you. You don't need armor to be untouchable. You need self-awareness. By knowing your feelings, you stop being their puppet. You still feel pain, but it doesn't own you. You become someone who can face the world, hurts and all, and stay steady. That's the strength you've been searching for. You've been taught to dread pain. Growing up, you heard that crying shows weakness, that hurting means you're failing. So you learn to push it away, swallow your tears, fake a smile, keep moving. But no matter how fast you run, pain follows. It doesn't just vanish. It shapeshifts. That knot of anxiety before a big meeting. It's pain in disguise. That sudden rage when a friend lets you down. Pain again. The apathy that keeps you scrolling instead of chasing your goals. Still pain. Carl Jung saw it differently. Pain isn't your enemy. It's your soul's messenger, pointing you toward what needs to change. Jung called suffering a signal from your unconscious, like a lighthouse flashing in the dark. It's not there to break you. It's there to wake you. When you feel crushed after a breakup, it's not just about your ex. It's your unconscious nudging you to face an old fear of abandonment. When you freeze up at work, terrified of making a mistake, it's not just the deadline. It's a deeper doubt about your worth, begging for attention. Ignoring these signals doesn't make them stop. It makes them louder, tunneling deeper until they show up as panic attacks, bad habits, or choices you regret. You've tried escaping, binge-watching shows, overworking, or pretending everything's fine. But Jung knew that ignored pain doesn't fade, it festers. It's why you keep dating people who hurt you or sabotage opportunities you want. Your pain is trying to speak, and until you listen, it will keep repeating itself. The way out isn't to fight it, it's to sit with it. Jung said to treat suffering like a guest, invite it in, ask what it wants. What's this anxiety telling you? Maybe you're overextending yourself. What's behind this anger? Maybe you've let people cross your boundaries too long. This takes courage. Next time you feel that familiar ache, maybe after a rejection or a fight, don't distract yourself. Pause. Grab a notebook and write what you're feeling. Is it fear? Shame? Where does it come from? You don't need answers right away, just the willingness to ask. Jung believed that by listening to your pain, you start to see it for what it is. A guide, not a punishment. It's showing you what's been buried, what needs to heal. You don't have to love suffering, but you can stop fearing it. Every pang is a chance to grow, to shed old patterns, to become more yourself. Jung saw pain as the spark of transformation, the doorway to a stronger, clearer you. When you face it, you're not just surviving, you're evolving. That's how you begin to break free from the hurt that's held you back. You've spent years dodging pain, bracing for harsh words, fearing rejection, dreading loss. You thought if you could control others or hide your feelings, you'd be safe, but the hurt still finds you. Carl Jung offered a different path. Nothing protects you from suffering if you stay blind to what's inside. The criticism that cuts deep, the silence that stings, the setbacks that crush you, they only have power because you haven't faced yourself. True resilience isn't about stopping pain. It's about choosing consciousness every day to understand your inner world so nothing can shake you. Jung said, "What you resist persists. What you accept transforms." Every time you blame a coworker's snarky comment for your bad day, you give it power. Every time you let a friend's betrayal define your worth, you stay trapped. Consciousness changes that. It's not a one-time fix, it's a daily practice. When you feel that familiar pang, don't run. Ask, what's this touching inside me? Maybe your boss's critique hurts because it echoes an old fear of failure. Maybe a breakup leaves you raw because it stirs up a belief you're unlovable. By naming these triggers, you strip their control. You still feel, but you don't drown. This takes work. After a tough conversation, don't just stew. Write down what you felt and why. When anxiety creeps in before a big decision, don't distract yourself. Sit with it, trace its roots. Maybe it's not about the choice, but a deeper doubt you've ignored. Jung taught that by seeing your patterns, why you snap, why you retreat, you start to choose your response. You're not a victim of your emotions anymore. You're their guide. That's what makes you untouchable. Not a hard shell, but a clear mind. You'll still face pain. A colleague might dismiss your ideas, or a loved one might let you down. But when you're conscious of your inner triggers, their actions don't unravel you. You feel the sting, but you stay steady because you know who you are. This is your shield, not walls, but clarity. Jung showed that living awake means owning every feeling without letting it own you. If this journey resonates, don't just move on. Hit that like button to mark this moment of clarity. Subscribe and turn on notifications to keep walking this path with us. Each video is a step toward living consciously, breaking free from pain's grip. You're not here to just survive the hurt. You're here to transform it. Join this movement of awakening. Your next step starts now.